Over the past few years, many people have been paying more attention to the wellness industry. And if that's you, then this episode of This is Jax, I think it's going to be for you. Dr. Judith Abbey, she's a nurse practitioner who owns On The Go Drip. She's going to be sharing her story. We're going to talk about how she went from growing up in Ghana to owning and running a personalized concierge medical wellness right here in Jacksonville. If this is your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Welcome to This is Jax, a hyper-local podcast. We're going to do our best. We're going to bring on successful business owners, the people who drive the cities, share a lot about what makes our city so great. So you can be confident and comfortable. This is a city that you want to call home. All right, Judith, welcome to This is Jax.
Thank you, Nate.
Hey, thanks so much for coming in here. I know we met recently and we got together one other time, and I do got to say, it's always a joy to be around you. You're such a bright person. So
it's an honor.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in today. So we're going to get into your story a little bit. We're going to talk about kind of where you grew up and how you ended up here in Jacksonville.
All right.
And so I've got a couple questions about that, but you know, in total, how long have you been in the city of Jacksonville?
In the city of Jacksonville, I have been here for about a year.
For about a year.
Year from Orlando.
Okay, from Orlando. All right. And then you moved around a little bit about that. So originally, you were on a path to attend med school in Ghana, right?
Yes.
Before transitioning to nursing here in the United States. So that's a pretty significant shift. What inspired it? And how did you feel, you know, your background has influenced your journey in the healthcare field?
Wow. So I guess let me go back.
Yeah.
So born and raised in Ghana, and growing up as a child, I just knew I wanted to be a doctor. Like I had family calling me like Doc Jude, my cousins, like it was just like natural.
Doc Jude.
I love it. So I feel like part of our culture is you either become like a doctor or you're a lawyer, accountant, you know, that kind of thing. But I don't think that's what drew me to it. I just had this natural inclination to just being able to help people.
Right.
And so from a kid, I knew I was going to be a doctor, went through school in Ghana, high school in Ghana, and I did general science because the way our education system is set up, if you want to go to med school, you have to be a science major. And so that's what I did. And I was on the way to med school, interviewed, got accepted, got my books, everything, you know.
Checking the boxes, right?
Checking the boxes. Went to an all-girls high school, one of the best high schools in Ghana for us, the girls' boarding school. Yeah. And so that's why I did my science, graduated, like had all A's. And so I'm like, okay, med school it is. Here I come. Right. But God had different plans. Okay. So what happened was I was told by family, you're moving to the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how old were you when you made that move?
I was 17.
17.
I was 17 when I made that move.
And that can be kind of, that's a time period in anybody's life, that 17, 16, 17, where a move is like a big deal, right? Because you're right on the verge of like, I've done so much of my life here and I'm on this path. Right. And then I have to make a move forward. Right. You know, so how did you cope with, where was your first stop in the U.S. when you guys moved?
It was a big culture shock.
Yeah.
Big culture shock. But when I moved here, we lived in Pensacola. By we, I mean my family, my brother and his beautiful wife. They lived in Pensacola. So when I got here, that's where I was. And we lived in Pensacola for about 10 years. Okay. Loved it. Beautiful, beautiful city. The beaches are great. I've always been a beach person. So it was just wonderful.
Beautiful beaches in Pensacola.
Pensacola is where I started and ended up going to University of West Florida for my nursing degree. Okay. Which part of my story being when I moved to the United States, I thought I was going to continue with medicine or like pre-med. Sure. But again, you know, He has plans, you know? So sure. I transitioned into nursing. So did my nursing degree at University of West Florida, graduated there, and then, you know, just went on. But my early transition here, it was Pensacola. big culture shock, but it's been absolutely wonderful.
And then from there, Orlando, and then on here to Jacksonville. So what was it originally that, and I know your family's still here now.
Yes.
So you guys kind of all moved together, correct?
Not necessarily. So when my family left Pensacola, they went to San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And then that's when I ended up in Orlando. So we were separated for a little bit. Like growing up, we've always been like one close family unit. You know, we're always together. So that was a bit of a change. Like they're on one side of town, like we're on the other side of the country. And it just so happened that God brought us back together again.
So first you move across the world and then you split the family up and go different directions within the country.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. Interesting time. And so now you're here in Jacksonville. Okay. And, you know, I see that you did, you know, you graduate with honors there with the BSN 4.0 GPO, advanced practice degrees. You know, that's pretty impressive. So what was it? Is it just culturally, or was there something inside of you? What really motivated you to excel academically? And what, you know, what challenges did you have to overcome in order to maintain such a high standard?
Ooh. So I would attribute this to God, right? I am a Bible-believing Christian, and I feel like God has called me to excellence.
Sure.
And so mediocrity and being average is not in the vocabulary, but also
not working. Not for Doc Jude.
No, not for Doc Jude. But also, I think culturally, how we were raised, my parents just very, you know, do the best that you can always. Yeah. And so I always knew that there's more to accomplish. There's more to do. If there's this investment being made into my education, I'm going to make sure I make the best out of it. Like I'm going to get the full experience out of it. So it was always making sure that, okay, this is the goal for me this semester. I want to, you know, study as hard as I can and make all my A's and get a good return on my investment. So
So get out what you put in type mentality.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. And then just cultivating that discipline as well. Challenges. I mean, it's always hard to study, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody likes studying, but it's like, you know, it's something you have to do, and the reward is absolutely amazing. So
that's good. That's a great story, and encouraging to others who are maybe on that simple path. And so the simple answer is you just got to put the work in. You just
got to put the work in. Right. There's no easy way around it. Unfortunately, like early mornings, late nights, it's just got to do it.
Now you were nursing. Now today you own On the Go Drip, right? Which is like an IV. And so you started kind of making some changes early on. Let's talk about the COVID-19 part, because at this point during COVID-19, you're working in the ER.
Yes.
Right. And so that must be kind of an intense experience, kind of figuring out how we were going to navigate that. You know, do you have any real profound lessons that you learned during that period, and how did it affect your overall approach to healthcare in general?
Ooh. COVID was rough for everybody. It was rough for everybody. We're all trying to navigate what's going on, the separation from our loved ones. But man, was our healthcare system stressed more than it already was. And it hasn't even gotten any better, you know. But the experience of it, I often try to not dwell so much on it because it was quite stressful. And at the peak of COVID, that was also my transition between Pensacola to Orlando. So I went from like one ER in Pensacola to another ER in Orlando. And just to see the loss of life, the separation, the pain, and constantly having to resuscitate patients or putting them on life support, people passing away. It was hard. Yeah. It was hard. It definitely got to a point where I was like, Lord, if you do not send me a different direction, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Because you get in the mindset of doing this so many times that you begin to lose a part of who you are as a human, as a person. You know, it's being in emergency nursing or emergency medicine in general. It requires a certain persona. Like you have to be a strong person clinically. Like you need to be able to handle a lot. And usually we're seeing so many critical cases. You don't really have time to debrief or kind of go through what you just went through. You just go from one really horrible situation to another, you know, and then your shift ends, you go home, you repeat the cycle. Everybody's just like mad at each other. Yeah. just very stressful. And I know personally that I had I think I know that I did lose part of what that human connection was, because the whole point of us going into healthcare, into medicine, is to help people and make people feel better. And I know that I lost that because it was just going through the cycle, just going through the motion.
Yeah. And maybe a little desensitized.
Very much
desensitized. Becoming like
very much desensitized.
Okay.
Very much desensitized. So I was like, Lord, if you do not send me a different direction, I don't know what's going to become of of this calling is, because healthcare it's a ministry. It's a calling. It's not just a profession. It's not just another job. You're literally impacting people's lives. You're literally helping them, feel better, be better, live healthier lives. And so that was my prayer.
Okay.
And God answered that prayer.
Yeah, that's an awesome perspective. So today you take kind of like a preventative, holistic approach to medicine versus more of like a reactionary or treatment part of medicine, right?
Absolutely.
So can you, for the listener out there, can you share a little bit about On the Go Drip and how that is that holistic preventive maintenance or medicine on the body?
Okay. So On the Go Drip is what I like to call is more of a integrative practice. What we do is we combine a little bit of traditional medicine with a little bit of holistic medicine. And so what that looks like is we go to our client's preferred location. And this is not like your traditional going to a physical location, going to a clinic, because we've come to realize that there is a lot of power. Yeah. And also there's a lot of healing and recovery that comes with people being in their own space and recovering in their own space. So what On the Go Drip does is we bring these medical wellness treatments to our patients wherever they are to facilitate the recovery process. And it's not only for recovery, but also for people who they're well, they're healthy, but then they're looking to, optimize their health. They're looking to optimize their wellness. So what we do is we go to where they are and we administer IV treatments for them, whether it's for hangovers, which is a very popular one, but also IV therapy is used for a lot of things like wellness or lifestyle, but then also we have that functional medicine aspect of it, and we also have that sick call part of it. So, for example, if somebody has a really bad migraine, this is something that we can come home to them and do a treatment for them. It's a whole medical process. We do like a medical screening to risk stratify and make sure that this is actually a good thing for you. And also we want to make sure that this migraine is not something else going on for which I actually need to send you to the emergency room.
Right.
And so we have those sick calls and we have that functional aspect of it. And we also have options to help our patients they're well, they're healthy, but then they're looking for a little bit more.
Right. Okay. That's a great thing. And that's all here since you've been in Jacksonville. You started that.
Yes. Correct.
Now, I'm just guessing that before you were in Jacksonville wasn't like a goal or a place to reach, right? You were, in Pensacola and then Orlando. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned how you were kind of looking for God to open some doors and to lay that path out into you. Do you feel like Jacksonville was part of those doors that opened or that path that opened for you?
That was his plan, and I'm following where he leads. Okay. Because honestly, I thought that I was going to go back to Orlando. There was a significant family thing that happened, which led me to being here. And so I'm like, this is just temporary. I know my family is here in Jacksonville, but knowing that this is where I want to take my business. And also I was doing this also in Orlando. So I figured I'm like, okay, I have some clientele here, I have some patients here. And so this is where the business is going to be. But it got to a point, there was a lot of back and forth between Orlando and Jacksonville. And I'm like, well, I think God is sending me this direction. Right. So I made the move to transition completely to Jacksonville, just full time because family's here, so I guess that's how it happened.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Yeah. That's great. So balancing, you talk a lot about your family and let's see here.
I love them a bit too much.
So balancing your family, your education, a demanding career, you're making decisions based on where you're going to live. it's no small task. So what advice would you give to others who are, juggling similar responsibilities? What strategies have you found most effective in managing your time and your priorities?
Okay. So I would say for anybody who is looking to enter this space or just going through this phase in general, for me, one thing I did was to set what the price is and negotiate that price and then jump into it. What I mean by that is this is a difficult thing to do, between juggling family, starting a business, also academic requirements. It's a lot going on. And so for me, knowing what the end goal is, knowing what the vision is, and saying to myself, Judith, what is it actually going to take? What is it going to actually require of you to get to that goal? And so if it means I'm going to be consistent, it means I have to be disciplined and a host of other things. It means I'm going to have really difficult times. Am I okay with dealing with those difficult times when they do happen? Because it's different when you're talking through things to yourself, and it's different when you're actually going through it. So going through a point where you're able to tell yourself, okay, this is what the vision is. Yeah. This is where I want to be. This is what is going to take for the journey. This is what the journey looks like. Am I willing to pay that price? And once you set those terms for yourself and you sign that contract with yourself, there's no going back. You stick with it. So for anybody looking to start, I would say take some time and really consider what the cost is, what the price is. What a price is it going to be worth it for you? Is it worth it to you? If it is, you just start.
Then you just start.
And the rest will figure itself out. Like the steps are going to reveal itself to you as you get there.
Throughout that process, how important is the rest, the self-reflect, and then like also the rest in your life?
It's very important. It's very important because if you're not reflecting on what your progress is, it's very easy for you to lose sight of where you've come from.
Right.
And it may also make you think like you're not moving in the right direction. It's very important for you to reflect. It's important for you to pause and take stock of where you are.
Right.
I do that quite a bit because I'm very results oriented. And so if Judith is not seeing progress, or Judith is not like, okay, I was supposed to be at this level at this stage. Why am I not here yet? Is
it me or something else? Is it me or something
else? I can get very discouraged because I'm like, okay, you're not putting in the work like you should. But then if I take stock of, okay, this is where we were at point A. You're trying to get to point C. But between point A and point C, what are the things that you've done consistently that's getting you closer and closer to point C, even though you haven't gotten there yet? Those are little things to help me know that, okay, that's a win to celebrate. That's a win to celebrate instead of just waiting to get to that point before I celebrate anything at all. So just pause, take a rest, though you're still going to stay consistent, but make sure you're reflecting on what the progress is.
Right. That's good. That's good stuff. Now, rest looks differently to so many people. To some people, it might be, cutting the yard might be rest to them, right? Or to others, it's the beach, or to some, it's a trip away.
Yeah.
I heard it put one time where, like, if you work with your mind throughout the week, then for rest, maybe get outside and do something with your hands. Yeah. Where if you're using your hands and you're physically active outdoors all week, rest to you might just be like sitting on the couch on Saturday, right? So what does rest look like in Doc Jude's life, right? In Dr. Judith's life, how do you find rest in particularly attached to this city of Jacksonville?
Yeah.
What are some ways to get rest here?
So it's like you kind of already knew. On Saturdays are my rest days.
Okay.
It's either we're having family time, we're going to church, worshiping, or out and about, or just like enjoying what the city has to offer. We're very outdoorsy people. So you're going to find us at the beach, probably fishing or something, or we'll go to the park, just hang out as a family. it's rare that you will find me by myself. At least at this phase of my life, I'm always with my family.
Yeah.
Like, we're always doing stuff together. Like, we are so close, so extremely close. But usually rest for me looks like hanging out with my family. And also one thing that I really love to do is to go for a run. I would go for a run to like clear my head, or just working out.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's basically the same thing I'm doing. So of all the hidden gems in Jacksonville, which do you think deserve more recognition?
I would say Riverside.
Riverside.
And I think is it Brooklyn area? I don't think it's... No, I think it's Riverside is what I'm referring to. I'm still kind of new to Jax. I kind of get places.
Well, we have Riverside area. So you remember you have Avondale, the shops at Avondale, and then 5 Points.
Yeah.
And you do have Brooklyn up there. And then in those parts,
Riverside.
To somebody who's not from Jacksonville, that may all blend to like one big area. But in Riverside kind of swallows that up. But it has like a few different little spots.
The place behind the YMCA, like that park behind YMCA.
Oh, right on the water?
Right on the water. Oh my gosh. I love it over there.
No, it's beautiful.
And there is like a little place where you can actually work out. They have like some outdoor workout.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's perfect for me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. That is a nice spot.
It's
and you're right, it is kind of like a hidden gem and I had an office near there, and we used to kind of take I needed some outdoor, I would go on a walk, and that's where we go. And then with the bridge that comes over, there's like shade. Yeah. Right? Yeah, there's even shade and everything. So that's a great spot. That is a great I agree.
Yeah. That's definitely my favorite spot to hang out.
So the future, let's talk a little bit about kind of the future, both your future and Jacksonville's future, and how you see them blending together. So in your opinion, what recent development or initiative best captures the direction that Jacksonville's headed?
The stadium, Jax Stadium, that really tells me that, we're committed. And I mean, people say all kinds of things about our Jags, but we love our Jags.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I know.
We love them.
Can't get enough.
I can't get enough of them. And so for me, like one thing that On the Go Drip really does well with is helping athletes recover. Hydration is a very important part of recovery. And so we have modalities or treatments that's tailored to our athletes, either before your workout or before your exercise, whatever it is. And also after, whether you're a runner, you're a football player, and so seeing the direction that the Jax is going with the stadium and the investment that the city is making into this gives me so much hope. Anybody looking to come to Jax, like, oh my gosh, you don't even think twice about it. Jacksonville is absolutely phenomenal.
It's a great place.
It's a great place. I really did not think I was going to love Jax like I am right now, because like I said, I always thought I was going to go back to Orlando, but it has changed so much, and there's so many aspects to Jacksonville. It's so big. The pace is very different, but you have everything you need.
Right.
You have everything you need.
Gosh.
Oh, but
so good.
It is very good. It is very good. Like, family oriented, and I feel like I have circled around family like a whole lot.
But no, that's great. That's so important to you.
It is very important.
And you touch on something like the pace of the city, right? It's a little bit, it's a unique pace.
It is unique.
Right.
It is unique.
And it makes, that as part of what is one of the secrets of Jacksonville, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that is such good stuff. You've already accomplished so much, and I know you're gonna go on to accomplish so much more.
Greater things.
So when you're looking back on your life and you're telling this same story, in 30, 40 years from now, if your life was a book, what in Jacksonville was a chapter in it, what would the title of that chapter be for you?
Oh my gosh, that is quite a question, Nate. What would the title of that chapter be?
Yeah.
I gotta think hard on that one.
Okay.
I would probably call it Wait and See.
Wait and See? Okay.
Wait and See.
Good.
Or wait. Maybe I'll call it The Miracle City.
The Miracle City.
Because when I reflect on the past couple months,
Yeah.
There have been so many doors that have opened for me personally and also for the direction of On the Go Drip.
It's awesome.
That I would have never thought would have happened. Again, it goes back to how I saw things working for my business in Orlando and what I anticipated, and not sure how Jacksonville was going to work out. And I've just been surprised, by the opportunities, and there's more opportunities, on the way coming, but it's been profound, what Jacksonville has offered me.
That's great.
So miracles indeed.
I can't wait to read that book.
Miracles.
Years to come.
It probably may be sooner than 30 years. Who knows?
Awesome.
It may be sooner than 30 years.
Judith, if one of the listeners was looking to get in touch with you, either for On the Go Drip or any other reason, what's the best, place to send them?
Absolutely. The best place would be to go to our website.
Okay.
That is onthegodrip.com, and we have a contact us page where you can leave your information. And then also we have our email information out there, our social media. You can follow us on social media as well. And so lots of places to reach us.
Awesome. Well, it's been spectacular having you on today. Thank you so much for telling your Jacksonville story. And I can't wait to see where you go from here.
Thank you, Dave. This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for all you do for the city and for the city of Jacksonville. And it's an honor. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.